implement your ideas according to your business plan. Turn it into something useful. If you do not do anything to a sparkle, what happens? It just dies. It's fun, it's exciting, it's bright for a very short moment. So you need to turn that into a flame, and that requires a lot of work. So you have to find a stick, dry grass, and then once you take that spark and ignite that a stick or a torch, it becomes a flame which is useful. So your ideas, the ideas that you create during a hackathon, during design thinking, those are fun. But it is not useful unless you turn it into a real implementation. So this is innovation. You have an idea, you made it useful. What is an innovation culture? So if this rectangle here represents your company, an innovation culture is this, where you're innovating every corner of your company. And what that means is that you have to have sparks everywhere. And you have to turn all those sparks into flames everywhere. And you have to sustain that. Because if you don't sustain that, the spark dies away, the flame dies away. So the question is, how do you sustain this amazing fire throughout all corners of a company? So it's not easy. So first of all, let's go to basic. Why do we need innovate anyway? I mean, if the company's doing well, they're making a product that's selling, why not just business as usual? We just keep on making the same product. Because change is the only constant, and we hear that a lot. That is true for life. It's also true for business. Business changes because customer changes. You have a new batch of customers, younger customers, who has different needs. The economy changes. Technology changes. You can do things faster, better. And Jeff Bezos says that in today's era of volatility, there is no way but to reinvent. So companies need to constantly reinvent themselves. And that means to transform themselves, to innovate themselves. The only sustainable advantage you can have over others is agility. That means how fast can you adapt? How fast can you innovate? The faster that you innovate, you will become the leader. And that's it, because nothing else is sustainable. Everything else you create, someone else will replicate, which is true. Anything you do, someone's going to copy if it's a good idea. So the only way to compete and be successful in business is to constantly create new things, okay? So this is very long-winded. Bob Iger says it much succinctly, if you don't innovate, you die, okay? So Bob Iger is, of course, the CEO of Walt Disney, and that's very true. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few steps on how to create an innovation culture within an organization. So this is a very simplistic view. It's a lot more nuanced. It's more complicated, but at least these are the basic steps. So first, step 0, which means before you do anything, innovation must be aligned with the company purpose, values, and strategy. So for those of you who are interested in innovating, when you interview for a company, you have to make sure that you read the company purpose, value, and strategy. Does it mention innovation? Does it mention technology? Is innovation part of the company's DNA? So this is very important. The company's board of directors and executive committee has to agree that this innovation is part of what the company's DNA is about. Okay. Robert Iger again, he explained the heart and soul of the company, which is Walt Disney, is creativity and innovation. So if a CEO comes out and say, everything we do is innovation, that would be amazing. Okay, so oops. So so if innovation is part of the company mission, what do you do to create this innovation culture? First of all, you have to have an innovation framework. It's not exact science. It doesn't matter. You could have in any kind of framework. Design thinking is a popular one. The MIT approach is another one. So as long as you have a standard way of innovating. So innovation is not like art where it's, it's just, the random. There is a systematic way to innovate. And if those who took the MIT program knows that there's step by step. So obviously, most innovation frameworks follow similar steps. First, you emphasize with your user. Those users could be your customers, internal users, and then once you understand the real needs for your customer, then you try to define with that information, define what is the problem that you want to solve. And then you come up with ideas, brainstorming. There's a lot of brainstorming techniques, ideas, and then you prototype and test that, and it could be iterative. Satya, CEO of Microsoft, says, the source of innovation comes from having a deep sense of empathy. I think that's the key thing. Before you do anything, before you come up with ideas, you first understand, try to put yourself in the shoes of the user. And once you do that, the user's pain, the user's problem becomes yours. You feel the pain as well. So you have to empathize to the degree that you feel the same pain as your customer. Okay. And then if you could do that, and the best way to do that, the way we do it, is we actually invite customers, invite users to explain their experience. And it's no better way to understand your customer than hearing from them directly. Okay, so we have an approach that we use at Prudential. It's a combination of design thinking and other approaches. It was created by Al Noor in the 90s when he was CEO of BT Innovation and Design. So it's a 3-day event. And what we do is we start with a customer business need. So we start with a pain, start with a challenge. All hackathons start with that. This is very important because some hackathons start with not the challenge, but what? The technology. Let's do something with AI. So that's not a good approach. Let's solve a problem that business faces. Let's solve a pain point that our customer faces. What technology should we use? And second is involve all stakeholders, because you don't get a complete picture unless you listen to all stakeholders. Stakeholders to be the customer, colleagues from relevant line of business, IT as well. Third, I think this is most important, is key decision maker must be present. Decision maker are people who would decide where or not to go ahead with the project, people who have money to do the project, people who have resources. So if the decision maker is not in the innovation session, whatever you do is not going to pan out because no one's going to support that. And then what we do is we break people into teams, and they can be to brainstorm, produce the best solutions, and we do it in a special way. We do it in an iterative cycle. So in the 3 days, we have all teams present in the morning and the afternoon. So within 3 days, each team has come up with 6 versions of the idea. If you have 5 teams, that's 30 ideas for the challenge. And then at the end, we select the best one. Another thing we do is sharing and learning from each other is encouraged. So when each team present, you have 5 teams you present. If you think that's a good idea, you can take it. It's okay, because we want the best solution at the end. In fact, we share the PowerPoint too. So if a team has a great PowerPoint slide, we allow people to take their PowerPoint slide as well. And then the customers, peer group, decision maker choose a winning team. We have a special rule of thumb is that everything has to be implemented in 30, 60, 90 days, which means 30 days to alpha version, 60 days to the beta version, 90 days to live, which kind of identify the scale that we need to innovate each time. In after 9 days, we conduct post-implementation review run by independent parties. So it's important because we need to learn each time. It may be a success story, or it may fail. That's okay. But the most important thing is you learn from each of the experiences. So that's hot houses. And you can read a bit more about it. There's actually a Forbes article a while ago that talks about hot houses. Okay, so I think some of the key to innovation framework success is you have this framework, how to make it successful. You have to, so the problem that you want to solve have to bring significant value to the customer or business. Okay, if you're solving a problem that's too minor, that's not good. It has to be significant value. Must build up a deep sense of empathy. Like I said, you bring in the customer in to talk about their experiences with your system. All stakeholders and decision makers must be present. Customers, the decision maker choose a winning. At the end of each of these innovation sessions, there must be some sort of plan. It could be a business plan, could be whatever, but it has to be a concrete plan of action. What do you plan to do within the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then monitor. Well, another thing we do is that we found that learning and innovation goes hand in hand. And that's very important. So when we have an innovation session where we have a large group of people together, we take that opportunity to learn as well. And what that means is that before the innovation session, before the hackathon, before the design thinking, we have preparation workshops to prepare people, maybe background on the business function, or maybe some training on new toolkits that we have, etc. So there's training before. And then there's also sharing during the 3 days. So we have different teams from business, etc., to share about the best practices. Sometimes we invite external parties to share as well. So there's nothing better than to learn by doing, and we think that's a great opportunity is to learn during those innovation sessions. Okay, so that's great. So you have the system in place to innovate. So what do you innovate? What are things that you can innovate in a company? What are the areas where there's potential challenges? So there's many, basically, there are rooms for innovation in every aspect of any company. So this book called 10 Types of Innovation is a more systematic way of outlining areas for innovation. So you can start from the beginning. What is the business model? So you can innovate by changing the business model, maybe. So you may have a new business model, which is freemium, for example. Network, how do you create those products through partnerships with vendors? Structure, the organizational structure, which deals with HR, the processes in the back. So this is what they call configuration, and offering is the product. Is your product performing? Does it have distinguishing features, etc.? The product system, because it's not just one product, but associated, supplementary offerings. And then the customer experience, how is the customer servicing? Are people answering their phones quick enough? Are you responding fast enough? Channels, how do you distribute your products, your brand image, your brand statement, and then how do you engage with your customers? So basically what this diagram shows is that there are rooms for innovation throughout every aspect and business function within a company, and finance is also part of that as well. So that might be confusing, but Jeff Bezos makes it a lot easier to understand. So Jeff Bezos says, we innovate by starting with the customer. And most companies does that. The revenue comes to the customer. So start with the customer. How do we make the customer journey more efficient, more streamlined, and working backwards? So very often the customer touch points gets improved. The customer experience gets improved when you improve the back end. For example, automating some of the processes. So when a customer interacts with your systems, it's much faster. Okay, and of course, technology plays a big role in this innovation. So in the past few years, data, machine learning, AI is very important. People say data is the new oil. AI is the new electricity. What that means is that data is the first key. You have to have data, and then AI turns the data into something useful. Digital transformation is something that's been ongoing for a lot of companies over the past 5 years or so, especially because of the pandemic. So through the pandemic, a lot of companies disappeared because they were not digitized. So digital transformation includes digitalization to make sure everything is digital, and then digitizing, which means everything's digital, and then digitalization is to make use of that information. And then digital transformation is making use of insights that you get to transform the company. So currently we're in the age of AI transformation. Everything has AI in it now, especially with Gen AI. All companies are adding Gen AI into their offering. So AI could transform how you engage with your customers. Most obvious example is marketing through social media, personalization, empowering your employees to do more, better, faster, optimizing your operations, transforming your customers through your products and services. This is a diagram. I'm not going to be able to go through that. This is where Prudential and many insurance companies are using AI to provide frictionless and seamless customer experience. So this is a typical customer journey from awareness, consideration, purchase, service, efficacy. And then, of course, the marketing side, there's a lot of AI to reach out to the right target audience. Recommendation, personalization, robo-advisors, lead management, propensity modeling, and purchasing for insurance companies is AI underwriting, dynamic pricing, upselling, cross-selling, etc. And then once they buy, could be online servicing, chatbot, automatic claims, AI fraud detection. And then advocacy is, connecting with your customers and understanding their needs, because like I said in one of the first few slides, is that change is part of life. So if our customers change and their needs change, we're going to go back and recommend different products to satisfy their changing needs. Okay, so now you know you need an innovation framework. So later on, when you work for a company or you're already in a company, first of all, have some sort of innovation framework. Second, identify all the challenges. And then third, when you come up with new ideas, make sure you follow through with implementation. So I just share 3 quotes. It's not about ideas. So it's great that you have all these bright ideas. It's about making ideas happen. That's innovation. Okay, and remember, we do not call it innovation until it gets built and used. So it's not really innovating unless someone uses it. Third is, not all innovative ideas are successful. So this quote means, marry the problem, not the solution. So if it doesn't work, forget it, move on, try a different approach. Okay, don't keep on saying, I need to use AI machine learning, because I've seen a very lot of examples where people force AI into a problem that's too simple for AI. So, okay, fourth, in order for it to be a culture, you really need to innovate often, innovate everywhere, in order to be a culture. So their saying is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So if you do a hackathon once, if you do a hackathon, if your company do a hackathon once a year or twice a year, that is not a culture. You need to have something that is sustained, that you constantly do. And you need to do it in everywhere. Every business function can have room for innovation, okay? And in order to be a culture, you have to be a habit. What that habit means is that whenever there's a problem, people think, okay, let's have a design thinking session. Let's have a hot house. That is the first thing you think of. If there's a problem, let's work together to solve the problem. This quote is interesting because not all innovations work the first shot. That would be amazing. In fact, most of the things you come up with will not work the first maybe 100 times, or maybe not that much the first few times. Then you come up with the real problem. So this quote means fail early. So if you don't know if the ideas work, so you have to make sure whether it works fast. You don't want to waste time on it. So you try it out as soon as possible. So you fail early. Fail often, that means you have to keep on trying very often. And, but always fail forward. What that means is that every time you fail, you learn something new. Not to go through that approach again or whatnot. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is remember to have fun and celebrate, because in any culture, in human life, there's rituals. We have holidays, we have celebrations. It's not about all work, so it's about having fun to innovate, to make the company better, to have better products, to have your customers be more happy. So remember to celebrate, and what we do in order to make this a culture for a company is we celebrate innovation with everyone in the company. So at Prudential, every month, actually I have a live streaming event every month at Prudential where I invite 25,000 people to come and listen to all the great things that we have done at Prudential. So when people come and listen, when all the companies are invited, they see, oh, this is what we do. We make progress. Every month there's something new. So they get an idea, okay, this is part of what we need to do. This is part of our purpose. And one thing I forgot to talk about is, I think I have in a second slide, is some of the best practices. Okay, so this is our secret sauce that I'll be happy to share with you. Okay, so in order for innovation culture to work, first focus on helping customers. Very important. The livelihood of a company, of course, depends on your customer being happy. Second, very important, is everyone get to participate in innovation. So what we do is we ask who wants to come and join us. Anyone who has a great idea. And one of the problems with, in large companies is people work in silos. They don't talk to each other. Some people have great ideas, but they have no channel to share. So whenever we have these innovation sessions, we tell people this is the problem we want to solve. If you want to participate, that's great. If you have great ideas, come. So what very often we have is maybe a CEO of a particular country working side by side with an intern. And that kind of improves the communication as well. So everyone gets involved in innovation. Learning is a big part because you don't get new ideas unless you learn. And then we encourage people to, when they pitch their prototype, and I think some of the students will be pitching, is do it with storytelling and customer journey. Tell it from the customer's point of view. That's very important. Must have implementation plan, innovate often, and then invite whole company to celebrate. I want to share two quotes about company culture. So company culture is the only sustainable competitive advantage that is completely within the control of the entrepreneur. Develop a strong corporate culture first and foremost. What that means is that other companies can copy your products. Other companies can copy your service. But the only thing that they cannot copy is the culture that you have created within the company. So I think the first thing you do is, if some of the young people here want to create a startup, first define what is the culture of your company. And then Jeff Bezos says, many of the traits that makes Amazon unusual are now deeply ingrained in the culture. In fact, if I want to change that, I can. The culture is self-reinforcing, and that's a good thing. So once you create this corporate culture, even if someone wants to change it, it's impossible because you have thousands of people following this culture, and one or two person will not be able to change it. Okay, last slide, kind of summarize, starting with the flame. So I hope I have not encouraged people to become arsonists. So this is a great quote, Catherine Lasky, a children's book writer. He says, a spark can be a flame. So the ideas that you have created through this MIT experience can be a flame if you work on it. And then a flame can, and hopefully you can turn this flame into a fire. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. And now may we invite Ms. Marina Chan to come on stage to share about hacking the entrepreneurial mindset. Marina, please. Thank you.
All right. Welcome again to the MIT Hong Kong Innovation Node. I&T Talk. My name is Marina. I am the head of education at the Node here. And I'd like to share a little bit more about one of the core traits that we disseminate in Hong Kong through the Node, and it's the entrepreneurial mindset. So who here has heard about the entrepreneurial mindset before? Can raise your hand, anyone? Right, so our students definitely, because they've just been through our program. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about it and finding ways in which you can actually unleash this very, very important attitude and mindset, okay? So I was actually blown away by this recent report that I came across by Wiley, based in US. The report was covering surveys from 600 different companies, HR personnel, and they were asking them, what was the post-pandemic demand in terms of skill sets that you're looking for in your company? And interestingly, there was a 48% increase in demand in soft skills and a 33% decrease in hard or technical skills. So, looking at that research report a little bit deeper, we're trying to figure out what are these soft, durable skills that these HR personnel were thinking about. And, here we capture, top 4, problem-solving skills being really important, time management skills, the ability to adapt to change, and leadership ability, right? So, these are traits that we know in, corporate culture, very, very important, and especially what Andy talked about as well. But how do we actually unlock these type of skills in our education and in our workplace? So this is where we think about entrepreneurial mindset, okay? When we think about what an entrepreneur, how an entrepreneur can be successful, this individual needs to possess certain skill sets and traits that will amplify their success to create a new venture, to launch a new idea. And oftentimes it's about recognizing and acting on opportunities that can create value. So not just thinking about a problem or a challenge as a big hurdle, as a big nuisance, but really think of it as an opportunity for them, to improve upon something. The second is, being able to work with limited information, within a limited time. Often creativity thrives under limited resources. And thirdly, again, the adaptability and the resilience to be able to operate under conditions of ambiguity and in very complex situations, which represents what we come across every day in real world problem solving. So this is why MIT has had a very, very long legacy of developing entrepreneurs. True, there is clearly that technology and innovation angle that has propelled a lot of amazing inventions, many Nobel laureates in the past few decades, but entrepreneurship is also in one of MIT's core. And a study done by MIT faculty in 2014 out of the MIT Sloan School of Management actually reaffirmed this. They looked at, in 2014, they looked at where their alumni have gone in the world. And they realized that alumni actually launched over 30,000 active companies by the time 2014 came around. And that actually employed up to 4.6 million employees globally. And if we're able to look at how much revenue that generated, that would equate to 1.9 trillion US dollars. That's a huge number. At that time in 2014, 1.9 trillion in revenue would be equivalent to the 10th largest economy, sitting between Russia and India at that time, based on IMF reports. So, this really holds, value in terms of how we think about the importance of entrepreneurship education, not only to create economic growth and impact for societies, but to develop that mindset so that even if you're not doing a startup, you can still be successful in whatever echelon you decide to pursue in your career, be it corporate, be it in academia, etc. Just becoming a better problem solver is what we need in today's world. Obviously, you can take a shortcut. This is a fun report I came across from Harvard. Apparently, there is a certain type of parasite found in cat feces So if you want to take a shortcut to become more entrepreneurial and making you more likely to found a startup, you can get exposed to this particular parasite. But let's do it the proper way. Let's do it the academically proven way, okay? And that's where MIT's entrepreneurship education comes in. All right, so in 2013, MIT professor of practice, Bill Olet, created a very handy, step-by-step guide to developing entrepreneurial mindset through this startup playbook. It covers 24 steps, really focusing on themes around knowing who is your customer. So like Andy mentioned, the design thinking approach is extremely important as part of this entrepreneurial mindset development. In addition to that, it's not enough to just know how to work through a playbook. You really need to be passionate about an idea. You need to really follow your heart, be passionate about wanting to solve a gap in society, a big problem that you find, and then be able to understand and develop capabilities, knowledge to be able to execute, and then also be able to form a team so that you can actually practice this and execute effectively on the ground. And lastly, it's important to thrive within your venture ecosystem by surrounding yourself with a community of supporters, mentors, investors, etc. So these are, for what Bill believes is the 4 H's of entrepreneurship education. And that's where MIT Hong Kong Innovation Node comes in. We've been set up here since 2016, and our goal is to really connect MIT community to Hong Kong. And with that, our mission is to educate and to connect individuals from these 2 geographies. We've launched a series of entrepreneurship boot camps in the past 6 years, covering different industry verticals. First one is MEMSI, where we work with the Airport Authority in Hong Kong to understand ways in which we can improve, urban mobility, develop smart cities, innovations in that space, and to really improve that customer-centric passenger journey, especially post-COVID. With our FinTech program, which we just recently concluded last month, we're looking at ways to improve and enhance the customer journey from a digital perspective, and thinking about new emerging tech such as generative AI, and finding ways to really embed that to improve workplace efficiencies and operations. And then more recently in summer, we also launched a urban-focused bootcamp led by my colleague Sunny. So they worked closely with the MTR to again think about ways to enhance and improve the livelihood of passengers, and to make more sharing economy possible through some of these innovative ideas that came about with the students. So the idea is to really use these platforms to simulate an entrepreneurial mindset by having the ingredients of having to make decisions quickly, by being adaptable, working under ambiguous circumstances, and be able to lead within these circumstances as well. So I'm pleased to mention about right now we have a few students that have joined our program recently with MEFD, and they went through this journey through what we call action learning. So again, if you recall, Professor Bill Olet really believes in taking knowledge, not holding it captive, but being able to apply it through hands-on, real-world problem solving. So through the methodology that Professor Olet developed, we then worked with Prudential. So thank you to Andy and his very distinguished team for supporting us, and another corporate partner, Open Hive, and also the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. So creating this industry ecosystem where we can draw real-world business challenges and then mentorship from these companies to be able to distill and inspire our students, to help them validate their assumptions about a particular product or a particular population, and be able to also validate the solution as well. We also were inspired by many entrepreneurs in the ecosystem in the fintech space to again help elevate the understanding for our cohort. And then at the end of the 10-day period, we had a showcase. So students would be standing on stage similar to this and be able to pitch their ideas within 7 minutes. So this type of format, we have found, it yields a lot of, benefits and gains for the students. At the same time, also injecting fresh new ideas, like a mini hothouse in the case, for Prudential. And what are these challenges, that students that we're looking at? So in the past summer, we focused on 2 particular challenges from Prudential. Again, really focusing on, digital journey, being able to think about the potential power of emerging technologies, for new product or service offerings. And with our other corporate partner, OpenHive, we're looking at a lot of AI and alternative data collaboration. In order to offer, think about new product categories in that space. So with that, I am pleased to now turn over to our students. They will be sharing, we'll have 2 teams. They'll be sharing a little bit more about their reflection of the MEMZ journey, in particular their pitches as well. So you could sort of have a walkthrough together with us to see what they came up with. So I believe the first team is Team Data Aid, looking at the OpenHive challenge. So may we invite Team Data Aid to come up, please. Great, so we've got Mohit and Carolyn. One thing about our programs is we want to be inclusive of different universities. So MIT and Hong Kong universities are all partnering together to work on these. So over to you, Mohit.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Mohit, and I'm from HKBU.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caroline, and I'm from Hong Kong UST.
So the name of our team was Team Data Aid, and our solution was to provide personalized insurance insights to agent. And our idea comes from a story. And a few months ago, I was approached by an insurance agent, and I said yes to her mainly because of the free coffee. So I went there, and then she whipped out a pen and paper, and then she started mapping my financial position in that paper, and that strategy did not work because I still don't have insurance, and yeah, I wouldn't say yes to another agent even if they gave me free coffee or a free meal. So, and after talking to different stakeholders of the insurance industry, we realized that like one of the main problems faced by insurance agents is many people drop out during the onboarding process, especially the young people. And the main reason for that is Hong Kong is not very advanced when it comes to insurance literacy. Many people, they don't believe in insurance, or they don't realize the importance of insurance. And to talk about our solution, I'd like to hand over the stage to Caroline.
Yeah, according to Mohit's story, the agent will put out a paper and using pen to draw some graphs and numbers to try to explain all the stuff to the customer. So we want to replace it with a modeling technique, like using an iPad or like a website. Those are some easily used UI to better explain it. So we're going to explain a little more about how our product may work. So first, we're going to give a survey link to the potential customer to ask them to answer some questions, so help us to know more about the potential customer. And then after that, we're going to gain those customer attributes from the questionnaire so that we can, using some AI techniques like those classifications, clustering, to cluster the potential customer to maybe their generations or their education backgrounds, or their financial needs to a single group, to a certain group, so that we can gain some personalized insights for the potential customer. And actually, we spend a lot of time designing our UI, but actually we cannot show you here. So we have a very easy to use UI, so we can use the sliders to drag here and there, and use some elements to put in our template. So we're going to make our products UI really usable and user-friendly and convenient.
And you might be thinking, oh, like what will be displayed in the analytics? So we'll provide information like, okay, suppose if your age group is 20 to 25, then we'll show them what are the common health risks faced by people of your age and what is the health cost for that. And also what is like people that are similar to you, like people that the AI clusters you together with, what kind of insurance products they're buying, and also how much money are people saving because of insurance, and yeah, the common health risks, things like that. So that is how the analytics that we provide would be really personalized and tailored to them, and we do all this by using the internal data of the insurance company as well as the publicly available like health related data.
So based on our previous sharing, we identify a gap in the market and then we find a solution. But to make a startup, we also have to analyze it from the business side. For example, like the market sizing and also our pricing models. I'm going to jump to it. So there are about 100,000 insurance agents in Hong Kong. So among them are 22,000 insurance agents are from Prudential. And among them, we estimated that around 3,000 to 6,000 insurance agents are actively engaging with new customers, and they are our target users of our product. So our pricing model is very simple and straightforward. In the first 3 months, we're going to offer our service absolutely free. And after that, we're going to charge 50 Hong Kong dollars per agent per month. So based on our calculation, there is around 2,500,000 revenue per month. So it's quite a large market to be tapped.
And how much time do we have left? Okay, and like, this isn't exactly related to our idea, but it's more related to our experience and what we learned. Like, I realized that it's really important to be curious when you're developing an idea like this, because like this idea, it didn't just come from us. We had to interview different people from Prudential. Like, I mean, she knew some agents and we also texted those agents. We talked with those agents. We talked with customers. Like, you really need to talk with a lot of people and you need to like learn how to ask them the right questions so that you can identify the problem and then make sure your solution is actually solving something that is important or solving something that is actually causing a lot of pain to the stakeholders. And to figure that out, you have to be curious, you have to ask questions of different people. Like, knowing your target segment is very important.
So based on what Andy shared about, we start from empathy. So we first behave like a customer to really engage in this whole process and identify the gap here. So after we really go through this whole process from like the initial interest in insurance, and then we go to the onboarding and maybe go to the sign the contract, and then go to the claim the insurance. We go through all the stages, and to like when our group are discussing, we write all the stages on a whiteboard and to find like the possible pain points in all the possible stages. And then we figure out there is a gap and which are most important and which are most urgent to be solved. And then we identify the gap. So from our sharing and also from our product design process, we start from the gap first and then go to the solution. Instead of like try to use some AI here, so we divide, so we're not from the like solution to problem, but instead from problem to solution, because we're not like try to use AI, then find a solution and then go to the problem. Instead, we try to really identify the problem first, and I think this is the most important.
Yeah, and like during the beginning of the program, we had a pie chart that said, okay, whenever there's like a team that is trying to run a business, idea is the least important part, and the most important part is team. And we think that it's very, very true, because in the beginning, to be honest, like even after 6-7 days, we had no idea at all. But we as a team, we were very supportive of each other, and we like tried to ensure that everyone could speak what's on their mind, like everyone could get their thoughts out, even if they think it's embarrassing or even if they think it's not good enough. We created that environment, and I think that is what made us so like comfortable with each other. We would question each other. We would, we're really comfortable like critiquing each other and improving each other's ideas. And I think that is how we came up with this idea. To be honest, I don't think our idea was that good or amazing, but I think since we had a really good team, since we took a really disciplined approach, we were like really able to narrow down on a particular problem, on a particular segment, and provide a solution for that. So like your idea is not really important, but how you work with your team and like how well you understand the market, like how clear you are about the whole process, in this case, the process of customer onboarding journey. I think those things are more important than your idea.
And another experience I want to share is the experience of our failure. So actually, we developed another product called Pro Match at the very beginning. And after we dig up more about this, the old product, Pro Match, we figure out there are some mistakes that we have made during the process. So it's actually like already past a half of the whole program, like the 5th day. And we figure out it's not workable. So we like start from scratch again and to develop all the steps like in the second half of the program. So I mean like don't have to afraid of being failure, to have a failure, but you have to learn something from your failure and then start again and don't worry, it's okay.
I think the important point is like you should be willing to accept that your idea is gonna fail. Like you shouldn't take it personally. Just you should be quick to, okay, this idea doesn't work, let me find another one. This idea doesn't work, let me find another one, instead of clinging to one. So I think for me personally, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Team Data 8. And now, may we invite the winner of of the Open Hive Innovation Award, Team Global Life, to come on stage. So, Idris.
Can you hear me? Thank you so much, Nick, for inviting us back, the students. And it was really nice to be here. I think you might note as well. So just a bit of a background of myself. I'm Idris. I'm studying global business, economics, as well as computer science here in Hong Kong. Oh wow, we have the slides. Okay, so I'll just walk you over about a very quick problem statement. We're working with Open Hive. They're trying to basically use AI to leverage and get new insights within the data that they have from different source providers. And the problem statement, particularly for us in this particular program, MEFT, 2023, was to identify propensity to buy for banks as well as insurance companies leveraging AI as well as alternative data. And I have the slides with me. I'll very, very briefly go over them as much as I could. And again, I think the guy mentioned about the team names. I think we don't have as good of a team name. It was very generic, Global Life. They had a very innovative data aid for themselves. But I think we're Global Life. We're trying to basically consult banks to open up a new travel credit card. And we're putting ourselves in the shoes of, say, a Hong Konger who's young, millennial, who's really enthusiastic about travel. And what we're trying to do is to effectively think about how we can address this market to be able to take care of their spending and be more conservative about their spending, as well as making sure they have a good experience while visiting abroad. So I think the problem that we're trying to solve is actually goes in two dimensions, one from the bank's dimensions as well as the other one from the travelers. And for the bank, we're trying to solve that they have very few customer knowledge as well as access to data. And what we're trying to do is to provide that alternative data from different source providers such as telecommunications companies, as well as such as trip.com, for example, to be able to use those data that they have to be able to pitch or to consult with the banks for what is the consumer behavior is like, and at the end, just to provide that solution at the end. And for the travel credit card for the travelers itself, I think it was just a lot about the specifications about transaction fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think our solution ideally is to provide alternative data to use the federated learning. Okay, so federated learning is a training model under machine learning to be able to use independent data sets and be able to leverage them with high degree of data privacy as well as efficiency. And that's what we're trying to use. That technology is how we're trying to ensure that OpenHive can use AI as well as alternative data to be able to provide this propensity to buy for the banks. But I think apart from the idea itself, I think there was a huge learning. I think Alina, I think Marina mentioned about how the entrepreneurial mindset was something that we are going to be taking away. And that surely is something that I must echo. And I should say that if there was one key learning that I would say, then it's going to be the collaborative problem-solving environment that was created within the MEFT community. It was not, I mean, I'm honored to be a part of the winning team, but I think all of the teams actually did a wonderful job, and we were able to learn from each other. And the fact that the environment really created some sort of atmosphere to be able to learn from each other, to always keep that intellectual curiosity driving, and be able to problem solve at the end. And personally speaking, I would say in terms of the tangible takeaways from the MEFT program was about the network, about the people, the connections, as in not only the people within the MEFT, not only the cohort, not only the students, but also we got to go to HKMA as well as the SFC in Hong Kong. I mean, we weren't able to see the trading pit, but I think it was a really nice atmosphere where we were able to learn about the technologies that the SFCs were leveraging on, and HKMA as well, more about the regulatory side. And apart from the people, apart from the network, we also got to see about other entrepreneurial and startup teams. And I think one of the key points here is that we were able to develop ourselves as some sort of entrepreneur rather than going and representing our own startups. And I think that was something which goes beyond to build entrepreneurs rather than building startups. And I think that was one of the key things about entrepreneurial mindset. And the other thing I might want to add is about the knowledge. As in, I mean, I surely, when I came in, I knew very less about machine learning, I knew very less about AI and whatnot. And surely this program really allowed most of the students, and in fact all of us, to be able to get out knowing more than what they got in through. And ideally, I think this is what the program also wanted to do, and we're really happy to do that. So again, the takeaways were about the connections, the people, as well as the knowledge. And I think ultimately, as Professor Andy earlier on mentioned about having fun and just to have that experience going on, I think that was something that we echoed as well. That was probably one of the best moments that we had earlier this month and the end of last summer. So yeah, thank you so much. And well, I mean, if you're interested in seeing the deck, then I'd be more than happy to maybe show them to you or even email them to you if need be. All right, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Idris. So last but not least, may we now invite Mr. Raymond Chu to come on stage to share about how to accelerate venture ideas to impact. Mr. Chu, please.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would say still good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you, Marina Charleston. First of all, I would like to say that the programs organized by MIT Innovation of Hong Kong, like MEMC and MIFT, are one of the most accomplished and comprehensive entrepreneurship education programs that I've seen and found in Hong Kong. And I'm so great to see so many good teams, so many good student teams coming out from these programs, trying to learn a lot of things coming out from the programs and turn their ideas, great ideas, into like some initial prototypes, MVPs and do some demonstrations. But let's say, how about you want to do one step further? You want to make this happen. You want to realize it into a startup. So how are you going to do that? So I would like to share some of my thoughts in a couple of slides on how you may be able, what kind of steps that you need to take note of, and how Hong Kong Science and Technology Park will be able to help you to realize your dreams and to create impact. Oops, sorry. All right, this is my bio. I don't think you are interested to know the details. So I'm the Associate Director of University Collaborations and Entrepreneurship Programs at Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, mainly like collaborating with different universities in Hong Kong. And I also manage a early stage entrepreneurship programs in Science Park, and I was working in other industries before, like including 12 years at PolyU doing knowledge transfer and entrepreneurship development as well. So a couple of agenda, as I said, how to nurture venture ideas, and then also the second part is on an overview of Science Park and what kind of programs that we offer to support you, and especially if you have an ideas, we want to make it happen. Although today's topic is accelerating venture ideas into impact, I try to not to use accelerating because some people may have a predefined set of accelerating or accelerations, because I will show you later on. We have another program called acceleration. It's more like at the later stage scaling up of startups. So I try to use the word nurturing. Okay, nurturing venture ideas into impact. But I would say like creating impacts, a lot of people like, I want to create impact to society. So what does it mean? Before you have an idea, you want to create impact, you will need to think about like what kind of impact it is. Like you solve the problems, right? You solve a pain point of someone, you solve the pain point of your customers or users. You are fulfilling the needs of the market, of customers, or they have a demand, so you fill it. Or you can do some things that people say traditionally you are doing more faster, you are doing it cheaper or more efficiently. Or even better, you have an unchecked area or unmet needs. You have some groundbreaking technology or disruptive technology that you can venture into and get into these blue ocean markets. So by doing that, you create impact. That means you have to have something, right? You have to turn your idea into something. You have to go to the market and people use it, customers use it, and they are willing to pay because you are solving their problems, they're meeting their demands. That create value and that create impact, okay? But before that, because we talk about like, you should have a technology, you should have a market, you should have these products. So are you ready? Are you ready to have a technology? They are ready enough to push to the market, or the market isn't ready or mature enough to adopt the technology, or they have the needs. So we have two things to measure it. We have a TRL level, like technology readiness level. It's actually developed by NASA. It's like from 0 to 9. From the very beginning, it's like only an idea at 0. And 1 is basic research, mainly like conducted in laboratories or academic areas, all the way to like you can full commercializations and 9. Okay. So normally when we talk about like a technology starting to be ready to try the commercializations, it's mostly in the middle, TRL level 4 to 5. So that means you have a technology developed already in the laboratory, in the in academic world, and you have some kind of proof of concept. It works. It has the functionally working in the laboratory, but you don't know whether it works in the real world. You don't know the market yet, okay? So that means in doing that, you need to collaborate with some kind of partners, industry partners or other community partners to try. And that at that moment, you need to start to do kind of like how you apply your technology to discover who are your customers and to do some validation. All right, and then after that, it becomes like more like industry focus. You how to do the whole technology development and make it productized and put it in the market. And on the other side, we have like the market readiness level, right? We talk about like with the technology ready, and now whether the market is ready. Okay. Again, in the beginning, you have no idea whether there's a market for my product or my technology. So you need to do some basic research or to do some needs, formulation needs, validations, all the way to the whole, like at the beginning, how to start to have some tractions and scaling up. So that three things is really important on that is how you find whether your solution is achieving the problem solution fit. You tackle the problem and you need to find out the solution fit for the problems. And after that, you turn your solution into the product, then it becomes like a product market fit. Whether your product fits to the market, your target market or your target customers. And even if you're a product and you have a target market, you still need to think about like a business model, and there's a business model, market business model fit. For example, if you have a technology, you may sell it directly to a customer. There's a business model, you just sell your product, or else you have a technology, you don't need to sell to the directly to the customers. That's B2C business model. You may just license to manufacturers and they do the productization and then they sell it to the customer. Then if you license the technology, that becomes like a B2B business model. So depending on how you tackle the market differently, you have a different business model. So if we put all these TRL and MRL together, you have like a four kinds of quadrant. If you have a technology TRL low and MRL low, that means like you have a technology may not be ready. I'm sorry. Not ready enough, and the market is not ready enough. So it's kind of like an early bird. A lot of deep tech, basically cooking in the laboratory or university, are mostly in this type. Then you have like some technology pretty ready, but then they have no market yet. So that means you need to push the technology out from university or from laboratory and to find what kind of market applications or customer target groups that you focus on. And on the other opposite side, you may have a market ready, looking for technology solutions, but the technology isn't ready yet in the market. So you have to prove you're thinking about like what kind of technology that you can develop in order to solve the market needs, to address these market demand. And of course, the best thing is like towards this, you have the technology ready, and then you have the market ready for you. So we hope everything's like all going on that side to enhance both your TRL and MRL level. But then whatever it's technology push or market pull, at the end of the day, one thing is common. Okay, if you have research from your laboratory, you still need to find what kind of applications that you want to focus on in order to solve the needs and the demands. This technology push. Rather, on the other side, if you have a customer needs or demands, you figure out, you identify the problems, but you don't have a solution yet, then you need to develop the solutions and then to find out what kind of develop that solution. So that means one thing is common. you still have to look at what kind of problems that you are facing, customers are facing, and you need to develop that. Okay, so to start with how to do that is like to do it lean. So what does it mean? I bet you guys heard about like lean startup or lean innovation or lean launch. So why lean is that, look at these statistics published by CB Insights. They list like top 20 reasons for startup failure. Rank top is no market needs. They're so common, a lot of people, like when they think about like, an idea to do a startup, they may start from their own personal sort of interest or encounter or experience. So they thought, okay, I have an idea because I have this problem. So does it have a market? If it's only out of your interest, you may just maybe find out that it is only your problem. It may not be other people's problem, right? So you have to find out whether your ideas has a market. Is it solving also many people's problems, your users' problems or customers' problems? So that means you need to have a way to do it and to figure out. So traditionally, when you start a business, you write a business plan as detailed as possible, figure out every single details, a lot of steps, a lot of in terms of how to do a products and things like that. But then why lean is that it's also echo what Andy said. Change is a constant. It's every day's happen. We face a lot of changes nowadays, like changes in technology. Technology advancement has changed every day. You have changes in customer taste, market, even political environment. So a lot of those changes are happening. So by the time you develop a very detailed business plan, everything has changed. So that's why we need to do it lean, in a lean way. So lean startups principle is like everything should be a set of assumptions that you develop a business plan and then you just go out and try. That's why it's important. The second step is to get out of the building. We have a program at Science Park teaching researchers and professors. They have great ideas, but they just don't know how to commercialize. So what we do is like we have this concept and then we ask them, we kick them out of building, we kick them out of the laboratory. We ask them to step out from the comfort zone, to talk to people, to talk to customers, to understand what actually the market looks for. They may have an idea how the technology applies, but at the end of the day, the market will tell them the reality, whether or not the technology actually fulfill the needs of so-called their customers. And they may realize just 3 weeks afterwards that there's no market out there for that technology. And they have to pivot and they have to change to a completely different without any equity. So it's purely grant. So we give you these grants. We don't take any equity out of your startups. For acceleration and elite, there will be a investment link. So we may take through Safe Note to take about like maybe 4 to 5% of your startups. So I focus a little bit, so this is a little bit more information. I won't go repeat that. Ideation programs, I think some of you may suit you at the early stage, especially some of the students, you have an idea you want to join. So this is the ideation programs. We'll give you grants, we'll give you training, coaching. We have a group of 200 mentors. They are serial entrepreneurs, investors, or senior management of corporates. We have a co-working space also located just right next to Hong Kong PC at Inno Center that you can make use of. So we help you to convert into incubations after within 12 months. So the beauty of this program is that you don't necessarily to form a company. So for example, if you are final year students or year 3 students, you want to test it out, you have an idea, you can just apply. You don't need even to establish a company. So that's the first beauty. And the second beauty is that even you fail, you can try that again. So you fail with your first idea, that's okay. You come up with another innovations and you can try again, and you can try again, and you can try again. And there's no limit. You can try until you find your winning formula, until you find the way that you can win and continue your incubation journey or entrepreneurship journey. So eligibility, you have an idea, you have a Hong Kong ID holder, age 18 years old, or if you have a company registered in Hong Kong that you can apply. So some of the evaluation criteria, I think is just quite similar to MEMC or MIFTI. I won't repeat that. So I just want to share a couple of successful cases that coming out from ideation all the way to incubation. This is the team from HKUST. They try to use the unsold bread, collect them. Otherwise, that will be disposed to as a solid waste. So they recycle it into beer with the formula and technology. So they are quite successful, and it's become our incubate team now. And they win a couple of other prizes and gain a lot of media exposure, creating impact to society. And I think the founders just recently won the Forbes Indian 30 under 30, and they're going to India to take the prize. Another one is called AI Guided. So the founders developed using AI in computer vision technology and edge computing to develop this device that you can wear, the visually impaired and wear in their body. And then there will be the camera and the computing devices will detect the path and the obstacles and to find the optimal path to guide the visually impaired to the destination. So it has been commercializing at Science Park as well, and it's also under our incubation. Another one is called MapMind Technology. They're also a team from, I think, from PolyU. So they develop different types of games, technologies, and to help the aging populations to screen out from their, to do some cognitive training to prevent them to have more early stage Alzheimer, to do some screening as well. And they train them, and it has been quite popular. And their technologies and their games and their products has been now commercializing in different elderly homes, etc. So all these are our ideation programs and incubators. So they join us, we provide them all kind of support to help them to establish from their idea all the way to become a startups and now commercializing their products and create impact. All right. So this is a videos. I don't think we will going to play them. Okay. This is we created a online community called Meetup at Science Park. So you can scan the QR code join this meetup group to become a member. It's all free. And we have a lot of activities, either online or physical. And most of them, I would say more than 99% of them are free. So you can just click the QR code, join it, and stay tuned with our activities in future. Either it's in Science Park, sometimes in Hong Kong, sometimes even at MIT or in other university. You can join for free and get close to and connected to our society. All right. So this is our contact. Myself is here at, and also I have two colleagues joining me today. So that's my presentation. With that, I would like to conclude with one of my favorite quote from my friend. I like it very much. And once he told me, and I want to share with you, is that I don't know what future holds, but I know who holds the future, which every one of you, young people especially, sitting here, you are the future leaders. So we hope that we can help you to turn your ideas into brilliant future entrepreneur. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. So right now it will be the Q&A session. We're going to set up a mic stand in front of the stage. So in case you have any questions for Raymond and also for earlier presentation from Andy, please come on to the stage for Q&A. Is there any questions from you guys? There's one.
Hello, my name's Lucas. I want to ask more about attracting talent specifically. So attracting talent and passionate people is crucial for any firm. And I'm just wondering what you think the perception of entrepreneurship is in Hong Kong, and also what can entrepreneurs do or the ecosystem do to attract more talent in this space?
Okay, maybe let me share a little bit on that as well. Actually, my team also looks after some of the talent education programs, especially with universities. And your question is very important that actually we think that startup talents is very important to every companies, especially to startups, because you just have a couple of people. So it's very important to how to attract right people to join the team. That's why at Science Park, we have a different types of talent programs to help startups, especially at very early stage, to help them to look for different types of talents, to help to support their development. Either it's like in internship programs. We also have some kind of like, let's say we connect with professors and students at different universities to help to let's say to offer some kind of like project-based learning from from startups. For example, you have a startups, you have a projects that you have no suitable expertise, or you have no time to develop. Then at Science Park, our team helps you to connect to the right professors with right students, and then they can do it for you for free. It's important, for free, okay? So you don't need to pay, all right? And doing this during this process is beneficial to the companies, but as well as beneficial to the students. So we do different types of initiatives in order to bridge from both sides, talents as well as the startup community, and also through that to train the students, to involve them in the ecosystem. And at the end of the day, we hope that the students will be able to match or to attract them to the startup ecosystem. I realize that there's a lot of challenge, especially like startups. You are relatively less competitive compared to big corporations, like in terms of your company branding, your salary package or prospect. But then in a way, in the last 10 8-10 years, young people starting to become more acceptable to working in like a more entrepreneurial environment, I would say. And even big companies are looking for people that are more entrepreneurial. So I think that we are looking for, we are still shortage of talents. There's still a talent gap, but we hope that through our initiative and through everybody's collective and with MIT as well, they're doing a lot of great programs, but together we hope how we can build a bigger talent pool to support the startup ecosystem.
I can say a few words on Prudential. So I think most of the larger companies, talent development is a crucial thing these days. It's good for the companies, good for the staff. It's great for staff retention. Part of the Prudential value is curiosity. So we want to encourage all colleagues to stay curious and be innovative. So we do provide a lot of resources and encourage colleagues to learn. And we seriously mean that. So it's part of the KPI. So each year we ask, what have you learned? What courses you have taken? And we give people plenty of opportunities. And one of the areas is data and AI. So it's very hard to hire talent in that area. And what we did is we train people internally. So we have programs to train up people, mentor people. In fact, last year or a year before, actually, we had the whole company take a intro to AI course. So it's not technical, but we thought that we want the company to have this AI first mentality. So what that means is that whenever there's a problem, we ask ourselves, where's the AI? Well, how can AI help? And the entire company took a course on AI, and that was that's an example. And in terms of attracting talent, I think it's easier these days, especially after pandemic. We have a lot of people working from home. For Prudential, it's easier because we work out of, I think, like 23, 24 countries around the world. So basically anyone in the world who's interested to work for us can work, either remotely and hybrid. So I think that's a very good question because it's increasingly important. A lot of corporations see talent development and continuous talent development is very important. It's not just you hire you and things change, technology change, business change. So that ability to continuously learn is important. And one really good example was I have people take a Python course. And some of the managers, the technical managers haven't programmed for a while. They took the course and they said, I feel young again. I didn't realize I could learn new programming languages. So people enjoy that as well. So that's,
Thank you. We should have time for one more question. Rio, please.
Hi, thank you for sharing with us. I have a two-part question. I apologize because I hate two-part questions. So I know the insurance company like Prudential, they operate in a highly compliance environment, regulatory environment. And also a lot of professionals are also compliance focused. So what can you put your finger on maybe one or two things that really change the mindset of these people so that really spark the innovation mindset in your company? So the second one I have is about the data. Prudential is actually sitting on a treasure trove of underwriting data and also claim data. So are there enough innovation that's happening there to create like more wonderful things for the world? Thank you.
okay. So hopefully I understand the question. So for yes, definitely all financial institutes are highly regulated. It's good for the customers. I think it's mainly to protect the customers. So in terms of the mindset of the internal colleagues, I think your question was how do we change their mindset about adapting new technology and taking risks? I think the key thing is, what I mentioned in the hot house, we get all the stakeholders together and have those people who deals with regulators really create empathy. Why are we innovating? Why are we changing things? Is really to serve our customers better. So having that that opportunity to understand the customers, because a lot of people deal with regulars, they work in their silos. They don't go out in the street to talk to people. They don't talk to customers. So the opportunity to really see a different side of the of the business, that's very important to have them have develop empathy, and also the ability to see the when you talk to technology people, they understand the risk better. Sometimes not really that risky maybe, and there's ways to control risks. And then the second question is about data. Yes, we Prudential has 175 years history, so that's very long. A lot of data we have collected over the years. And your question was what about the data? Yeah, I mean the data. Data is data, but the technology that manage data has changed over the years. Before it was database, and then now it's your data lake, and then big data. So definitely a lot of innovation is around the management of data, the cleansing of data, the standardization of data, making the data available. That is very key. Sometimes companies have a lot of data, but no one can access and use that. So having a very strong data governance is crucial. When I talk about the digital transformation, part of that is having that data governance to understand what kind of quality of data that we need to maintain, single source of information, who has access, how you get access, standardized APIs, all that. And now we have AI transformation, and that's the other part of the picture, is how to make use of the data. So you have to have AI ethics defined, you have the AI governance framework within the company. It's not easy. When we say it, it seems easy, but there's a lot of work behind that to ensure whatever data we have is correct, used properly, and whatever AI we use is ethical for the good of the customers, etc. Yeah, it's a very good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy and Raymond. So this pretty much concludes our event. But before we let everyone go, we would like to have a quick, fun group photos for all of you. So Charlotte, can you come forward with the camera? That's right, Marina too. Can you come to the stage for the group photo? We'll be shooting on the stage to the back. Yeah. Three, cheese. 3, 2, 1, cheese. One more. Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Thank you, awesome. So that's conclude our event. Thank you for coming to the MIT I&T Talk once again. So please be reminded to grab your special MIT souvenir before you go. So that's all. Thank you.